this county. We thank you for the blessings that you give us here in Burleigh County. And God, we just pray that you'll continue to bless this county. Bless our commissioners as they conduct a business. Bless our first responders as they do their work in protecting us. And bless our county workers as they're out there in these cold weather and taking care of what they need to take care of. Father, we pray that you'll be with our commissioners in this meeting tonight. Give them your wisdom. And we thank you for that, God. Now, we pray that you'll just continue to watch over us and protect us. And thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll call the February 19th, 2025 Burleigh County Commission meeting to order. First item is roll call of members.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken.
Here.
Commissioner Schwab. Here. Commissioner Woodcox. Chairman Bittner.
Here. Approval of the agenda. Anybody have any additions, subtractions, anything you wish to change? I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, consideration of the December 16th and 23rd, 2024 special meeting minutes. I think the December 16th was a regular commission meeting, not a special meeting. January 6th, 2025 meeting minutes, and February 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes and bills. Just so we don't forget, I had an opportunity to review the bills and would ask for a motion to approve the bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the bills. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox. Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. I had some additional things for input on the December 16th meeting minutes. After I broke a paper clip. First thing down on the second page, basically in between the up two paragraphs from the bottom. So after the third paragraph from the bottom, in between the third and the second, it says in Q4 2024, Burleigh County underperformed by this much. Burleigh County has not received a Q4 finance investment report, and I think those numbers are the same numbers that are listed above in Q3. And so I think that line needs to be struck from the minutes. And then finance director wanted some changes. If you go up to the top of the page, under the second bullet point, the last sentence, I think the sentence started out that on more than one of the investments made in 2024, both, as we had a conversation at the last meeting, that that should be limited to one or two, according to the finance director. And then strike the last words that start with and supported the various investment decisions made by the auditor treasurer's office. And that's after the finance director had a chance to review the minutes. Then, not the next bullet point, but the one following. He wants the sentence that says Splonskowski refuted a point that was seemingly made in Director Jacobs' report stating that the Auditor Treasurer's Office did not experience any turnover in the 2023 year, as not only did he enter the office of County Auditor Treasurer on April 1st, 2023. There again, that was based on his review of the tape. And the clarification from his point was later on in the meeting where he said, that's not what he said. He said that there was not a change in the Deputy Auditor Treasurer position. So then the other, another change, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the 5th paragraph from the bottom, he wants to change a word from clarified to stated in his report. Because he wasn't clarifying, he was stating that. Then the next paragraph, basically he's wanting to clean up the language because this is all related to his conversation, and he wants to eliminate in the next paragraph down the last sentence where it says, according to Jacobs, comma. He wants to delete that. I already reviewed the draft that removed the words only that I had referred to earlier. And then likewise in the second paragraph to the bottom, he wants to remove the according to Jacobs part because this is all under him, so that's unnecessary in there. And then he also wants to remove the word minor in that sentence, second sentence, that where it says, along with other minor issues in 2023, he wants the word minor removed because he didn't use that word. So those are the main changes that the finance director requested after reviewing the tape. Any other comments on that?
I do have a comment.
Commissioner Schwab?
I would not vote to approve these minutes until I see the changes.
Okay. Okay.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to, let's see, would that be to table the December 16th minutes until we see these changes?
Next meeting. I want to see the changes.
Okay. Okay, so I laid out what the changes were. Did anybody else have any other changes they wanted to make? Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Thomas, are you going to be doing the minutes now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is for you. Yeah, and I got to remove a note that I got here. It has nothing to do with the meeting minutes. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. In regards to those changes, at the request of the finance director, if they need anything clear, anything that, for clearness, ask him. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on
No,
to.
No, don't move on.
Okay.
What is the penalty, if any, for not putting the minutes out properly
There isn't a.
and not writing them properly, putting things in that weren't said?
There
Aren't
is,
they government documents? Or when do they become government documents?
they become government documents when you approve them. They're all listed as draft, and so that's why you review them. You make any changes you need to, and then you approve them, and once they're approved, then they're the government document that is put in the books.
Okay. Next then would be the December 23rd special meeting minutes. Did anybody have any changes in regards to the December 23rd? I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve, motion and a second to approve the December 23rd special meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Next would be the January 6th, 2025 meeting minutes. I didn't see anything that needed changing in those meeting minutes. Did anybody else?
Move to approve.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve the January 6th, 2025 meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Brings us up to the February 3rd meeting minutes. I honestly haven't had a chance to review those myself, so.
From my review, I felt they were fine. I would move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the February 3rd meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Okay. So that brings us to the consent agenda and the abatements. Anybody have any issues with the consent agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6 is a public hearing on Special Assessment District 76 Faulkner Estates project. I will open a public hearing on Special Assessment District 76 Faulkner Estates project. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this item? This is a public hearing on Special Assessment District 76. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Third time. It's a special public hearing on Special Assessment District 76. Anybody wish to appear on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Next is consideration of future public hearing dates, times, and location for preliminary resolution and plan on redesignating elective offices of Burleigh County Auditor Treasurer to appointed offices. This is on here so we can kind of have a start of a conversation regarding the public hearing dates and times, as well as I forget what we called it, but an online form for submitting comments that will be for the website. I don't have that in front of me, and so it's not like I can just discuss that. But we wanted to have a little conversation here about future public hearing dates, because we haven't set any dates for the public hearing. And I thought that before we do that, I think it's important that the state's attorney has an opportunity to review a couple of the things, particularly that online form, and I don't know if you've had a chance to do that yet.
I reviewed it just this evening.
You did, okay. And do you have any thoughts on hearing dates? Because I know it's kind of around your schedule, too.
As long as I have advance notice, I can work around pretty much anything. So whenever you want to set those. And if I can't make it, I'll make sure somebody's here that is informed and can answer questions.
Okay. We didn't want to schedule something that was going to interrupt with a trial or something.
No, like I said, if you schedule something and I can't make it, I will make sure someone informed is here in my place.
Okay. So, Commissioners, what are your thoughts on some possible dates and times for public hearings?
I think the first question is, how many do we want to have? And over what period of time? So is it 6 over 3 months? Is it 8 over 4 months? I think we establish that, and then we can start looking at some dates from there.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, I personally think we'd probably get by with, not get by, but I would think after 3, we've probably heard everything there is. I don't know.
I'm amenable to discussion, so.
Yeah,
I
I don't
do.
have it. I don't have it.
I just want to make sure we give the public enough opportunity, as well as us commissioners, opportunity to at least let people know what our thoughts are. I don't have an issue with 8 over 4, but that's dragging it out. You know, I do believe we should have some during our regular meetings, and we should have 1, at least, if not 2, at a different time, to try to make sure that in case somebody can't make it to every other Monday at 5 o'clock, that we have an opportunity.
Well, I think it would be advantageous to schedule at least one on a Saturday as well. So whatever that would look like, or where we'd, you know, in that case, we would probably have to hold that at the library. It might be the easiest location, but just to give people an opportunity to show up and speak their mind.
I'd like to have them all televised, you know,
Yeah.
so we could get the OWL set up for that at least, so that we have that record of the citizens' concerns. If we did
Because I
it
know
in the
sometimes it's
library
difficult
or.
to get into this
Yep.
building on a
On a weekend. Yep.
Okay. That sounds reasonable to me. Commissioner Schwab, any thoughts?
You're talking about public input on social media?
No.
I hope not.
Public meetings,
Website.
public hearings. And then there's on our website, we will have a form available that you fill out, you give your name and your address and your contact information, and then I take for granted that's on there. I don't.
Yeah, you can have Mary talk about it too, but what I saw was basically a form that was filled out. You go to a place on the website, fill out the form with name, house and street address, and then what city in Burleigh County you live in, and then a place for comments, and then a place also for email or phone number if they wanted follow-up regarding their comments.
Okay. And then further, as part of that, maybe Mary wants to come up, but also there was a question about what's the time frame for this? Do we start the comment when we have the first public hearing? Do we open, and then what's the end date?
Well, who is gonna have control of these comments?
Well, that's a good question.
For the
Originally,
simple reason,
since
if there's parties interested in it,
I think Mary is coming up, but maybe she can answer that.
Chair and Commissioners, the on-site website form will have exactly as approved the preliminary resolution, followed by the plan that you guys approved. And then just like Julie said, it's their name, their address, what city or where they live in Burleigh County, an email to follow up if they want to provide their email. The email is optional, and so is the phone number, and then it's just an open text space for comments. And so it'll just collect all of the information and provide a report for us.
So his question was who would be receiving that then? It would be you through the website?
You guys pick your start date, pick your end date. When the end date's over, it'll put it all in a report and feed it all to the board.
Okay. Commissioner Schwab?
there's no chance of people, unless they want to, having their email address exposed and stuff.
The email and phone number are just if they want to provide that, if, in case we need to follow up on something, but we can redact the phone numbers and personally identifying information too.
So that it would all go to you.
Yep. It'll collect in the website, and then we'll get a report.
Okay. I can live with that.
Okay. So when do you think it'd be appropriate to start that? Possibly after the first, or at the time of the first public hearing?
Public hearing?
Totally up to you guys.
I mean, technically, you could start it tomorrow if we chose,
Right.
so that they had time.
Oh, we had to
but-
give her a chance to,
Well, right, but
Your other option would be to wait until after the first televised public hearing, so the information's out there. They can come physically, watch the replay, and then provide comment too.
well,
So
that
they'll-
sounds like a reasonable
They'll
option.
have more information.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable to me.
That would give her time to set up and stuff, right?
Oh, it's ready.
Oh, it's ready.
It was ready.
Wow.
She's been working on it already. Thanks for all your help with that. So then, I guess by consensus, any other thoughts on that? Because it seems to me that it would make sense to do as she suggested, is
Yep.
to have that available after the first meeting when the information is provided. And then move forward with comments. Commissioner Bakken?
No, it's just.
Oh, okay, I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, is that okay with you, commissioners?
Any other questions on the, very basic, so.
Okay, thank you. You hadn't had a chance to do any kind of looking around on what kind of spots might be available for additional meetings? You haven't?
No, not until you guys pick some dates, times, then we can,
Okay, well, the one comment was a Saturday. That's some, and I think the time is, to me,
Like a
anytime. Yeah.
10 to noon or something like that, I think
Right.
is amenable for most people.
okay.
Mr. Chair, if I can.
Commissioner
So
Munson?
looking at the calendar, if we have our first public hearing on March 3rd, that's our next meeting. We could have then the following, which is the 17th. We could have any Saturday in March that works on our schedule, and then have the last on April 7th. There would be 4 meetings,
Okay.
but then it's done in a month.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So it really would be a matter of now, like you said, finding a spot on a Saturday.
For the Saturday.
Yep.
So that'd be the only thing that would be up in the air, because we can do the last one. Would that last one be a off-site or an on-site?
Well, I was thinking April 7th would be our first meeting in April here, so that would be the
Okay.
4th opportunity.
Okay. And I guess as we go through it, if we feel that we need to add additional dates and times or something, we certainly could. There's no particular stop date
No.
in mind, right?
Nope.
So then the direction would be a public hearing coinciding with each of the next 3 regular Burleigh County Commission meetings, and then a special public hearing at the library if possible. And we need to be able to check into that, see if it's available. Would you be able to do that?
Now, my only
Commissioner
question
Buck.
is, are we looking at doing that within the construct of a regular meeting? Or would it be prior to or after a commission meeting?
Okay, that's a good question. I wouldn't be opposed.
Because it's hard to
having it.
post a time, I mean, we usually don't know what time we're done, and whether or not this building is, or this room is available prior to our meeting is sometimes up for discussion,
Right.
so,
You know, we've constantly have public hearings during the regular meeting. Like we just had a public hearing for the special assessment district. I didn't
I'm good with that, it's just the variance on the time, I just wanted to make sure that was laid out.
Right.
And
So it wouldn't be earlier, because then we'd have to
Right,
be
and then
concerned with that.
make sure that it is the first top of the agenda, so.
Right.
Well, and I think as well, if we work really hard on each person gets 3 minutes or 5 minutes, if we're very specific about timing through that meeting too, we're not here till 11 o'clock.
Right.
You know, I think setting up those guidelines for the people that are coming to speak would be good for us to have Mary even put it out on the website, you know, for these special hearings, for this special meeting.
But
we would like to set.
My point is, though, I'm okay if we're here till 11 o'clock, that's our job.
True.
But we can't have staff here until 11 o'clock.
Right.
It's not fair to the sheriff or the emergency manager or any other staff, or, you know, it's not fair to staff to be here till 11 o'clock if one of these meetings runs long. That's my.
We'll just wrap it up at a certain time and then move it to the next. You know, if public comment is not completed.
Set it
by,
for an
let's
hour,
say-
and then if we need to add some more, then we could.
Sure, I'm okay
Okay.
with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity.
Right.
You know,
Like I said, I don't
think-
care if I'm here or we're here till 11
Yep.
o'clock, but that doesn't work with, it's not fair to staff.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to chisel it in stone, because it depends if it's a light agenda and we could take a little more time with
Right.
it. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I
I wanna-
have no means of going, say, well, it's an hour, but as long as we've got that flexibility to
Okay.
everybody be heard, I'm good with that.
I did have a conversation with Mary, where we talked about trying to get together with the state's attorney to sort of lay out those things that you had talked about. You know, the times and how much time you're going to speak, and what was, you know, those kind of, I guess, guidelines, you know? And we haven't had a chance to do that yet. And so I think I think we could go ahead and schedule it. And then by the time we're having that meeting, we would have those guidelines, and we'll lay those out at the start of the public hearing. How does that sound?
Okay.
So would you need a motion for the?
I think we would need a motion to schedule a public hearing, is Commissioner Schwartz.
For March 3rd, 17th, and 7th of
Right.
April.
And that would be
And
the
then-
first item on the agenda
Yep.
after, you know, the meeting minutes and bills.
Yep, but then we would give Mary the opportunity to work out a Saturday,
Yeah.
and we could finalize that next
At the
meeting.
next meeting.
Yep, that would be my motion.
Okay.
Second.
That's clear. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Tom, is that clear as far as the minutes go? Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Did you want to say something, Doug?
Yes, I do.
Come on up.
Sure, come on up.
I'm Doug Schonert. I would just like to have you consider having one in rural Burleigh County, like Wing or Wilton or Sterling or something like that, because I think it'd be more fair to some of the rural residents, especially if you start getting towards the end of March and the 1st of April. A lot of people are going to be calving and so forth. So just consider that, please.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. It's a point well taken. I think then what we should do is have staff the opportunity to find a spot to have an additional meeting out of town. What do you think?
Or is that our Saturday meeting?
That could be the Saturday meeting, I'm
Or do you
fine
want?
with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. I think that would be a great idea to have it in rural setting
Yeah.
on that Saturday.
Mary, what are your thoughts?
Would Wilton be a good place? They have a large assembly area.
You'd almost have to have two of them. When you think about it, you got Wilton, pretty good size, the Wing people come over there, but then you got Sterling and everything in
Yeah.
between, and they're pretty good
Yep.
size.
Could we do two on that one same Saturday? If we're already scheduled,
Yeah.
can we go from one city to the next?
I don't see why not. I mean, it wouldn't change mine.
No?
I think we should try to do that.
Yeah.
Try to find,
So Wilton and Sterling,
sure.
Yeah.
like a 10 and a 2 PM?
Yeah, I think that would be ample time. It's a good idea. Appreciate that. So we're going to amend the motion to include that?
I would amend my motion to include the wing and the Sterling on that Saturday.
I'll second that.
Wilton, sorry,
Wilton.
Wilton.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, and then that's in place of the
Saturday,
library
yep.
one. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes?
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
I would like to add that it's a little odd seeing Doug on that side of the commission table.
I'm just happy to see him because it's been so long. And his wife, of course, much happier seeing his wife. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Next, Bismarck Parks and Recreation Operations Director Dave Mayer, South Washington Trail Project. Welcome, Dave.
Chairman Bittner and Commissioners, good evening. In your packet is a letter from our Executive Director, Clip Fell, and some additional information that came from the DOT about the recent bidding for the project that the board had sponsored for the Park District for a TA-funded project. It's the South Washington Street Trail project from Meridian to the entrance of General Sibley Park. Bids came in good, which is something good to see for a construction project lately. The project came a little bit underneath the engineer's estimate, and our recommendation, as you see in the letter, is to move forward with the project. If you remember back when we first asked the county commission to sponsor this project, the county is acting fully as a pass-through for the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District to receive the TA funding. So there's no funds that the county has to pay or the county will encumber it. All the local funds are matched by the Park District. Just wanted to clarify that because it's been a while since I was up here talking about this project, so just wanted to make sure. So that was fresh on the mind.
Commissioner Bakken?
Dave, can you just recap what that trail looks like as far as what uses will be for that?
Oh, sure.
Because like a lot of people are like, oh, great, I get to drive my side-by-side down there, which is not the case.
Yeah, Commissioner Bakken. Generally, the shared use paths that are run by the Park District are for pedestrians and for bicyclists. And that's skateboarders, rollerbladers, and anything else like that. Non-motorized
Not
vehicles.
the motorized scooters.
Yes,
Yes.
non-motorized vehicles. E-bikes are acceptable. That is, by federal funding, they are acceptable. So that's, by accepting that TA funding, we're accepting that. So that is a general standard for that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schwab?
In reading this, what is a disadvantaged business enterprise program? Are we picking winners and losers here?
Chair Bittner and Commissioners, Commissioner Schwab, DBA is a business that may be minority-owned or may be female-owned. That's just a different classification for a business that may be identified through the DOT bidding project or process.
So they may not be the low bidder, but you get the contract.
I don't believe
That's
that they
what I
were a
read.
DBA, were they?
I don't believe Central Specialties is a DBE, no. But it is part of the federal program.
Yes.
Anytime you have federal dollars, that's an option.
That's a standard bidding process
For
that
now.
the DOT takes.
Yep.
How come then does it say, according to the agreement with Burleigh County, the county's share of the project is estimated to be $96,081?
So as we met a while back and talked about this, the DOT does not recognize park districts as an acceptable process to send funds to or to sponsor a project. So we asked the county to sponsor the project in on behalf of the Park District. So they're referencing you, but all the money would come from Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. So by accepting this project, the next step would be for us to have a companion agreement with the county stating, and we haven't done this yet because there weren't it wasn't officially a project from the DOT. There's some certain numbers and classifications that the DOT addresses to a project once it gets to this point. So what we would do next is create a companion agreement that states exactly that this project is, between the Burleigh County and the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District, that it would be a pass-through, and that all local funds are paid for by Bismarck Parks and Recreation District, which is our full intention from the beginning of this project.
I understand the intentions, but that's not in the packet?
That is not, because we have to have the project awarded first for the DOT to issue those numbers and go through the process. So once the project's awarded, the DOT will send a document to the county stating all of these things and the contract that the county would sign. We would have the companion agreement ready at that time.
So the project.
I would be okay with the motion to approve
Move to
contingent on
approve.
this companion agreement.
Absolutely. Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion?
If I may, our park board meets tomorrow night, so you might want to say that it's contingent upon the Park District accepting the project too.
I'll amend that. So
I'll
yes.
amend.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Yep.
Anything else, Commissioner Schwab?
I still have a problem. Are all these people bidding going to be disadvantaged business enterprise programs, enterprise companies? Or
Not
are they-
necessarily, no. No, they check a box
I really have a
saying
little-
that they are or they aren't.
I really have a problem with it. As a contractor myself, that means that a disadvantaged company may come in and get the bid, but they're disadvantaged, not qualified to carry it out, the work.
Which could disadvantage you as a contractor.
In a past life, I was part of a DBE.
Pardon me?
In a past life, in a past company that I owned part of, I was registered as a DBE. As a DBE, you still have to be a qualified
Well,
contractor.
I can understand your company.
I knew I was letting myself open for one coming back.
Well,
But as that DBE, they have to be a qualified contractor. It's a federal law that they have to allow DBEs
are they,
that,
I could support it if I know they're bonded.
Well,
they have to be
Well,
to a
is it
federal
general,
program.
or are these disadvantaged outfits?
They would have.
Yep.
The
We had
bidding
no-
process is
Being waived on that.
the
we
bidding
had-
process through the North Dakota DOT, and they have standards that have to be met for bonding and licensing and insured.
Okay.
Everything.
Yep.
Really isn't under our scrutiny. It's the federal.
That's the
program.
federal program.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes,
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Thank you. Okay, County Engineer Hall, you got a list of things that won't go through.
Can we just make one motion?
No.
Most of these should go fairly fast, so. Good evening, Commissioners. First item I have on the agenda is to enter into a contract for low bid for the chip seal projects. December 2nd, the county board authorized the auditor and the engineer to advertise for bids. We opened bids on February 12th. The bids are listed in the board letter in your packet. Asphalt Preservation Company was the low bidder. The bids look good. There is a proposed resolution in your packet. I'd recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Next item we have is entering into a contract for township gravel hauling. December 2nd, the county board authorized the auditor and the engineer to advertise for bids. We opened bids on February 12th. We did receive 2 bids. They're listed in your packet. The bids all seem in line. We do recommend approval of them. There is a proposed resolution, and as I said, I recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next.
The next item is to enter into a contract for the low bid of the Highway 10 and 80th Street intersection project that we have. On January 21st, the county board authorized the auditor and the engineer to advertise for bids. We did open bids on February 12th for that project. The bids are listed in your packet. It is a little bit higher than the engineer's estimate and the budget amount that we set aside. We do think within our current budget, we'll be able to make that work, though. There is a proposed resolution in your packet. I do recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Commissioner Bakken.
So do we have any indication yet? Because right now on these bids, Knife River and Strata were both bidders. With the merging of that company, do we have a timeline on when we'll have one less bidder on some of these projects?
Commissioners, I haven't received a timeline on when they were going to have that. They may function for a while as independent contracts under the same ownership, but at some point, you're correct, they will probably merge and be one contractor.
Okay.
So-
Hey, I have concerns about some of the pricing that we're currently getting and what that's going to look like in the future, especially when we are approaching budget season. So just food for thought.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
The next item is to enter into a contract for painting of paving markers. December 2nd, the county board authorized us to advertise for bids. February 12th, we opened bids. The bids are listed in your packet. They're right in line with the engineer's estimate and the budget. We'd recommend approval. There's a proposed resolution in your packet.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next.
The next item is to enter into a contract for dust control. December 2nd, we were authorized to advertise for bids. We opened bids on February 12th. We did receive one bid on this particular item. Historically, we've received two bids, but my understanding is, as you just mentioned on the merger, the one company bought the other company out now. So they were a little bit higher than what our budget amount is, but this kind of service we buy as we go, so we'll just buy less in the process and we'll stay within our budgeted amount. So there's a proposed resolution in your packet. I'd recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
The next item is entering into a contract for crushing of gravel. December 2nd, the county board authorizes to advertise for bids on this. We did open bids on February 12th. We did get 4 contractors give us bids. When you look at the low bid on this particular contract, it looks a little weird compared to the budgeting amount and the engineer's estimate, not so much as the engineer's estimate, but the budgeting amount. That particular line item for budget, there are other things that come out of that line item. So that's why it's much higher than this particular contract. In addition to this crushing portion of it, we also have our royalties that we pay for various individuals out there where we buy gravel to come out of that. And also this last year, we got a good deal. A contractor crushed extra on a particular project, and he gave us a good price on that, so we did buy that particular pile from him. So we have that, and that's right next to our county pit up there. So it was a good location, and we did move forward with that. So these numbers that we see here are good numbers for us. We'd recommend approval. There's a proposed resolution in your packet.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
The next item is entering into a contract for the Bryan Slough project. January 21st, we were authorized to advertise for bids for this project. We did open bids on February 14th, did receive 2 bids. They are below the engineer's estimate and our budgeted amount, so we recommend approval. There's a proposed resolution in your packet for you.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, this one twisted it up a little bit, but on the December 2nd, the county board authorized the highway department to seek construction engineering services for our Highway 10 project. That's a federally funded project, so there's a whole bunch more paperwork and stuff that we have to go through on that. We did open proposals on February 3rd. 7 consulting firms did submit proposals. One of them did withdraw. The other 6, we did go interview. We did an interview process with them on February 13th. It was, excuse me, it was determined after that interview that Bartlett and West was the most qualified firm to perform those services. As part of this process, negotiations of these services will basically be done between the DOT, Burleigh County, and the consulting firm, because the DOT is part of the federal process. They're paying 80% of the cost of this. So our recommendation is to move forward with selection of Bartlett and West. There is a proposed resolution in your packet, and I'd recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
No.
Chairman Bittner?
The next item I have on the agenda,
Yes. However,
No.
okay.
Did Chairman Bittner, did you
I
vote?
voted yes.
Okay, thank you.
move forward.
Would you like to know why I'm voting
Yes.
no?
Yeah, because it's your portfolio.
Because it doesn't seem that we're gonna get a feasibility study out of that outfit, and we paid them $16,000.
Oh.
They're very undependable, and until I see that, I cannot do business with a company that would do that. And I'm sure they're watching. Either give us a study or the 16,000 back,
Okay.
then it's gonna be all right with me.
I'm gonna change my vote, then, just for that reason. All right, I'm gonna concur with Commissioner Schwab then, because I do recall exactly what he's talking about. So that'd be a no vote. Thank you for clarifying that. And so that's a tie vote, and I think that one will come up at
The next meeting?
next meeting.
Okay.
We'll put that on the agenda for the next regular meeting. So move
Okay,
forward.
then the next and last item I have on the agenda is entering into a contract for the microsurfacing project. On January 21st, we were authorized to enter into, or advertise for bids for a microsurfacing project. We did open bids on February 14th. As you can see, we got one bid. When we were going through the budgeting process for this particular item, this is a new kind of concept for us at least. It's been done other places and other entities have done that, but we haven't done it yet. So we did not budget enough money to do this particular project, as you can see from the information presented here. However, we have talked to the contractor, I have talked to Commissioner Schwab. This particular project that we put together can easily be cut in half. We can do half the amount of work on this particular project. So that's what our recommendation is we're just going to cut that back, the amount of work we do on the project. The contractor was okay with doing that. That way we'll be much closer to the budgeted amount on what we're spending. So we do recommend moving forward. There is a proposed resolution, and I'll answer any questions.
How would you word a motion to accommodate that?
Wait a minute. Now, we're talking the road from Apple Creek Road to Lincoln.
Yeah, there's.
That would be the half.
There's two roads
So
on
we
this
know.
particular project. The one road that we were looking at is from Highway 10, 66th Street, from Highway 10 down to Lincoln. And the other project was 71st and Centennial. And so the loop project. We can easily cut out the loop project and then just do the 66th Street. That would be our focus.
That was my question, what was going to be cutting this project in half, knowing that there were two road surfaces, which one was going to go away, so. And then what does that do for future maintenance and upkeep of that road? Because are we limping something along that's going to cost us more money later, or What's that look like, Marcus?
During the year, we'll look at patching, if we need to do additional patching on that
Okay.
particular road, and then we'll budget something for next year on this
Okay.
particular road.
And we're fine with that?
Yep.
Okay. Move to approve.
Second?
Yeah, motion and second to approve. Obviously, that's with the understanding that we discussed.
Correct, yes.
So, any further discussion? Seeing none, call.
Understanding of what road?
Yes.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
Yep.
gonna be to Lincoln, okay.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes?
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Next item is Sheriff Lieben. Retirement of a canine.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Back before you with a request to retire a canine and release the dog to the handler for, in accordance with our procedure where basically he pays $1, signs the form, and takes ownership of the dog. This is the third dog we've acquired in our program since 2016. The dog is in a situation where it has some medical conditions that we've been trying to work with the handler and the dog to get the dog rehabbed. Basically, we're at kind of a crossroads where, based on the age of the dog and the prognosis or long-term chance of recovery, we've basically made the decision it's just easier to part ways and acquire a new canine. Ironically, we were approached by members of the community, not knowing our situation, that wished to assist us in our next canine purchase, a full donation. So we're not going to release that name yet. Once we get the dog back here and the new handler trained, we will have a ceremony for that. But the dog will be fully funded. This does come out of a revenue line item that we budget for. Unfortunately, we didn't know we would be in this situation, so we will be over budget on that line item, but like I stated, it's a revenue line item. There's money in that account to cover this, so it's not an impact on the taxpayer. I did talk to Lee just before I came up here, and he said we can do a budget adjustment or just let it go, whatever ultimately he decides, because the money is there.
So exactly what do you want?
Just permission to release this canine in accordance with our process and
So
procedure.
moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to do that. Any further discussion? I just wanted to say something. First off, best wishes to the dog, and then also thank you to the community member or community members that stepped up and is willing to fund the canine. That's not a little thing.
No, and
Very appreciated.
to speak on that real quick, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, with all the dogs we've had, the county taxpayers have not funded any of them. This has all been donated money through members of our community wishing to make it a better place to live.
Awesome. That's really good.
Yes.
In the event they don't want to be known or something, I guess, but otherwise, just make sure and pass on our appreciation. Would you?
We will, thank you.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes?
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Any other business for the good of Burleigh County?
Yes.
Chair,
Okay, Commissioner Munson first.
I have three. First one, we might be on the same page here. I want to remind the residents of the primary tax $500 credit.
Yep.
That is, applications are only due for another 5.5, 6 weeks. So I want to make sure.
It's the deadline.
March 31st is the deadline, so I want to make sure that that is out there. I had planned on some comments regarding our auditor's situation, item number 7, but I'm going to hold those for the public hearing. I've had a lot of comments in the community where they feel that this is a chair versus auditor situation, and I want to make sure the community understands that I'm in the same boat here, that we have troubles and we need to rectify it. And so this is not a chair versus auditor situation.
Nope.
This is a commission concern. We all have our opinions as to what should happen, how the process should go. But again, for those that have chastised me over the internet with the keyboards, I want to make sure they understand that we do all have concerns. The last one, I don't know if it's public knowledge, but the Provident remodel building or remodel project is out for bid. There's going to be some walkthroughs coming shortly through that project. I do feel bad that this commission didn't get a chance to approve the final plans. We got a chance to look at them partway through. My preference would have been that we would have had an opportunity to see them prior to going out for bid. But you've got a lot on your mind, so.
Never entered my mind.
I just think it's something that you've done a lot of work on it. I appreciate that work, but it is something that would have been nice. I got a chance to see him
Right.
after it went out for bid.
I don't believe there was any change, maybe one or two real minor changes from when we did review the plans at a previous executive session. So there, to the best of my knowledge, there wasn't anything substantial. I think we maybe changed some doorknobs or something.
I didn't need to pick those up.
But thank you. Anything else for the good of Burleigh County? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you.